when calibrating the pressure transducer, if you look on the back of it, there's a total, a static, and the connection for power. So you're going to go ahead and connect the power. Then you're going to want to connect the small tubing to the total barb. Then you're going to connect the other end of this to the manometers that we use. So this is the tubing for the manometer. We're going to go ahead and push the connector into it. So if you're using the pitot-static tube and the test section itself, this is where you connect the total and static for it. And then if you're using the airfoil in addition to the pitot-static tube, then you take the connector for the pressure lines, this connector. You make sure this is turned to unlock or open by shifting the red to the left, the red lever to the left. You orient this part, this top part, up with the red section. You push it till it clicks, and then you turn the lever right to lock it. So this is 9 tubes in this connector right here that you can connect to the airfoil itself for the pressure distribution, or you can use the manometer for that part. To undo this, you turn to the left, the clicker, you turn this to the left, the red lever, and you just pull the unit out. Now, once you've connected it the way you want it, for calibration of it, you connect the total port to the manometer, leave the static port open. So you're going to go ahead and turn the digital pressure transducer around, and you're going to plug it into the power outlet. Be careful not to trip over the wire when you plug it in. Then you're going to turn the switch on the back by the power cable, and you notice that it turns on. You can see here on the left the voltage at 0. Now before you calibrate it, it's recommended to turn the system on and let it set for 15 minutes. Now this span is where you adjust the amplification of the circuit. The small amplification, then you turn the knob to like 0 or 1. But whatever one you're using, do not change it from that once you calibrate it. So once you have it set to the proper amplification you want, you go ahead and lock it by pushing the lever down so it can't turn, and you'll notice the voltage. Now once you let it sit for 15 minutes, you're going to want to zero out that voltage. So when you calibrate it, make sure this selector is at 0, because 0 corresponds to that total and static port. So if you hook up the pitot-static tube to this system with the total and static port, switch it to 0, you'll get the reading from the pitot-static tube. If you switch it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's going to read the pressure coming from this connector and these lines, whatever's connected to it. Now there's nothing connected to these lines or to the system itself, and you switch it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then you're just going to get a 0 pressure. So you're going to want to adjust that to make the amplification. Based on your amplification, you adjust the set screw that I just showed you was using a flathead screwdriver, and you adjust it to 0. Now it is kind of finicky, but you can get it to set to 0. Now to 0 it, you want to make sure to use the screwdriver that's in the bin inside the cabinet in the bottom drawer. You go ahead and insert it into the hole, put it in the screw until you get it to read 0. And this is like the diameter where it's kind of finicky. So you get it as close to 0 as you can. And once you're satisfied with it, you're going to go ahead and calibrate it. And you're going to calibrate it in the same method we calibrate the pressure transducers for Bernoulli's lab. So what you're going to do, you're going to pump up to 10 inches of water column. That's the maximum you need for standard pressure transducer calibration. So you're going to go ahead and close your vent, open your pump, then pump it up to your 10 inches of water column. Then you're going to read the voltage on the display, and you notice that it is changed to 9. You notice that it's changed to 9, and then you go down some more and you read your voltage and keep on doing that, and you'll get your voltage respectively. And it should go back to your 0, and once you've done the pressure calibration, then you can use the pressure transducer of it. And again, you calibrate by having this pressure selector at 0. That corresponds to the total and static port on the back of this unit that I showed you. If you wanted to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the selector here, that corresponds to the connector with those hoses that I showed you for use with like the airfoil pressure transducer, the pressure distribution around the airfoil. Once you're done, go ahead and turn the unit off. Return the screwdriver, the power cable, and keep the pressure transducer total port hooked up with this connector so you can calibrate it in the future. And that is how you use the system.